Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Rebecca Matias, intuitive success coach and a speaker and author. And I'm so glad to have you joining me again for this week. We are on week number 5 of Your Transformation, 6 Steps to Create More Happiness and Success. So I just want to do a little recap here. We started out with success tip number 1, which was desire, getting in touch with that innermost desire that's deep within your heart. And then for week 2, we went over your environment and what did you need to look at changing or bringing in or getting rid of clutter in your environment. And then for week 3, we talked about support, what was going to support you to create more success and happiness. And then last week we went over boundaries, which is sometimes a charged subject for people. So I hope you did well with that. I hope you took the time to journal and get really clear about where you need to firm up your boundaries to create the success and the happiness that you want to have, to create your best life today, because there's only now for you to create that which you are seeking, your heart's desires that we touched on in week 1. So at the end of last week, we talked a little bit about your boundaries and what happens when you're giving from an empty tank, which leads us right into one of my favorite topics, which is self-care. And this is also sometimes a charged topic for people because the biggest excuse that I hear is, I don't have time. And so in clearing out your clutter, you probably created more time. In getting clear about your desires, you probably saved some time because you're laser focused on what you want to create. In getting the right support, you can also expand time, so to speak, a little bit. If you realize, you know what, I need support, I need someone to come in and help me clean my house, or I need some household help. Whatever that was for you, it probably opened up some time, which is why I've waited for week number 5 and secret number 5 for you to learn about ultimate self-care. And so what I want to talk to you about is I'm actually coming from you today in my craft room. And this is a room where I have all of the space to just create. And I'm actually sitting on my craft table that I do sewing and collages and all kinds of things. So allowing your creative spirit to be expressed is huge for self-care. And so I want you to think about a whole bunch of things. And what you're going to do this week is you're actually going to create a self-care menu. And some of you may have heard me talk about this before on my telesummit or on my coaching calls or whatever. But it's really important for you to have a self-care menu. And it's just like going to a restaurant and you're like, what do I want to have for lunch today? What's going to be the most nourishing for me? And the reason why I want you to have a self-care menu is because sometimes you can end up with a free hour or a free half hour. I know you're probably thinking, hey, that's rare. But in any case, if your plans change, it gives you something to refer to. And you can ask yourself in whatever moment it is that you're struggling or you're feeling depleted or you find yourself with extra time, and you can really put your hand on your heart and just say, what am I needing the most in this moment right now? What is going to recharge my batteries the fastest, best way right now? It might be a nap. It might be a bubble bath. It might be a good novel. It might be some form of creative expression for you. For me, I love to sew and create things. I actually created the shirt that I'm wearing. And I just have fun making creative clothing or collages, like the collage behind me is one of my vision boards. So another fabulous way to do self-care is to have time for dreaming. And a lot of people think that this is a waste of time. When you're pressed for time already, you think the last thing that I have time for, I don't even have time to paint my nails or something along those lines. How could I possibly take time to dream? But you have to think about the energy that you're in. So if you want to create more success and more happiness, you have to stay in an energy of expansion, in an energy of flow, and in an energy of exquisite self-care. So the opposite is actually true. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard the saying, in doing nothing, you accomplish everything. That's a line in the Tao Te Ching. So it is true. The more that you take time to nourish yourself, the more you show up in all of those other tasks that you're investing your time and energy into, and you're more productive. So something that may have taken you an hour, you could probably complete in a half an hour because you've taken the half an hour of time to give to yourself. So when you sit down to dream, I just want to preface this for a minute and have you think about one thing. And I want you to think about one thing in your life that has manifested, that has come about. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a home, maybe it's a car. You first took time to dream about having that thing in your life. And so that just gives you a tiny peek into the power of your own imagination. And so when you sit down and take time to dream and journal specifically, I mean, coming up with a vision board like this and journaling about it and giving yourself time, maybe even just to sit in front of the vision board with some music and just allow yourself to imagine being on the vacation of your dreams or with the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams. Imagine and just let your imagination take you. It's time to just let that part of your brain that has to be on guard or, thinking and moving and creating all of the time, allow that part of your brain to just relax and allow that right brain part, that creative side, to just go where it wants to. And so self-care might even be something not on your menu and just really checking in and allowing the answer to come to you that might not be on the self-care menu. I still think the self-care menu is a huge component of, helping you to be your best self. But I really want you to just think about all of this. What is going to nourish you on the deepest level? So there's taking in, again, there's the nourishment that you take in. So the food that you're taking in, the time spent with people that you're taking in, the dream time, the imagining, the going within. And then there's the expression of that. So it could be creating a shirt like this or a vision board like this or going out into the world and exploring to be your best self. So looking at what really nourishes your spirit, and week 1 will give you a clue into that. That was the week that we looked at desires. So if you look at your desires, that could be a place where you might invest your self-care time. So this is a really critical component. I don't want you to miss anything. So the breakthrough question for week number 5 and the secret number 5, which is self-care, is what nourishes and fills you up to the point where you're overflowing and you can't wait to show up in the world as your best, most amazing self, where you just feel like you're on cloud 9, you're completely filled up, and how can you begin to cultivate that into everyday life? So thank you so much for tuning in again. I hope you enjoyed this week's training video in your transformation, 6 secrets to create more happiness and success. I am Intuitive Success Coach Rebecca Matias, and I look forward to sharing the last juicy secret with you next week when we reveal secret number 6. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Don't forget to post your comments and share the video with your friends and family and colleagues so that we all can show up as our best, most amazing self, better and better each and every day.